Hi there, if you're enjoying the content on my channel, please like and subscribe and join me on my further repair adventures. Thank you. Greetings there, fellow repairers of Land Rovers and various other things. Today's task is to replace the rear prop shaft on my Land Rover Discovery 3. It has become obvious to me that it is not really working very well. It feels notchy and clunky. So I'm assuming that down to the age of the prop shaft on my car, which is 18 years old now, between this universal joint, the one here, the bad repair that I did on the carrier bearing here, and also potentially this universal joint, which is not serviceable at the back, has kind of got to the point where it's just got old and is clunky and stiff. So I'm hoping that replacing this will kind of alleviate those problems. I have gone for a GKN one, although it's hard to see. I bought it online from Maltings, a really good seller in the UK of genuine and, well, other parts for Land Rovers. I've used them a few times and they're pretty good. So I'm just going to see how we get on with this. This is around £500. So we're not scrimping on this. We're going for the top, quality item. Okay, so here we start under the vehicle. This is the front end of the prop shaft here. Everything looking actually quite, relatively clean and in good condition. So that's nice. And the actual prop shaft there. I don't know if you can hear that, but there is movement in it. We've got to get this heat shield off, and then up the back there is where the rear of it connects on. And in the middle here is our center prop bearing. So it's not a crazy job, but it's probably just one that takes a little bit of patience, and more likely the time to take it off is going to be longer than the time to put it back on again. Okay, just for a little reference, the front prop shaft is here, which is to forward from the transfer case. So the rear one's the back of the transfer case, and then the front one obviously at the front. That goes to the front wheels. So we've got these kind of Torx fixings up here. So these are E12 on the socket. So we've got 6 on there, and we've got these brackets as well we're going to take off. I'm also going to do a bit of marking just to kind of roughly say the position of where this was when I took it off, and just sort of try and compare it with the other one. But I mean, I don't know about the balance and everything. I assume that if you put a new one on, it's going to be balanced with itself, and the only reason you need to put them back on when they're old in the same position is that they will have got used to being in that position on the vehicle. So if you were to rotate it at that point, it might cause an unbalance. So I'm assuming that's the case, but I will just make a few sort of random bits of pen marks on here just to, give myself a little bit of reference, but don't know if it's that useful. But there you go, just thinking out loud. So we're going to start with these fellas, and these are E12s, so I'm hoping they're not on like mega tight. So with a short breaker bar here. Actually, no, that's not particularly tight, so these are not very tight. That one's going to come off as well. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is stop there. I've got them out so far. We're going to probably look at the back, just in case I need to rotate this. I haven't rotated this end because I can kind of get away with it. I'm going to leave the center bearing, which is above where you can't see, for the time being. Right, just having a look at the back here and a bit more up close and personal. There's much less room here, so we're going to have to rotate the drive shaft or the prop shaft to get to this. These my e-Torx are not that amazing from what I've just discovered. These are a lot tighter, and I'm just going to have a bit of a think about how to maybe get them off a bit more creatively. There's not much between the ground and here because the way I've jacked the car. So I'm probably going to re-jack the car and probably lift it further up at the rear. And there's plenty of room at the front because there's a big cavity, but at the back it all just gets really congested. It's sort of everything. There's exhaust bits here, and Just feels a lot more. The fuel tank's kind of in the way. There's this kind of mounting point here, so it's all just a bit more cluttered. And of course, the ones that need more torque, there's not as much room. The other thing I have done is just put a few markings on here just to roughly sort of give an idea of where the position of this universal joint thing is. Yeah, so slightly stuck at the moment, but I will work it out. It's just going to take me a little bit of time. Okay, so jack the car up a little bit more, just give me a little tiny bit more room. And I just found, again, it's often the way with bolts and things, if I can get this on really sort of perpendicular and get a good grip on it, I've actually managed to untorque this one. So that one's come undone. Just going to see if I can do it on this one. Obviously we've got to rotate the drive shaft, but it kind of seems to be to do with getting really perpendicular. That's not going to film, is it? It's just not enough room under here to easily maneuver around. Right, so you've got to get it on nice and perpendicular, and then you can apply enough torque to start undoing it. Yeah. Having said that, the other one came off a bit easier, but it mainly is just, I think, nothing kind of exciting, just having the patience really. Oh, that one was much harder. It's just a real difficult, awkward angle here. Wow. Pretty sure you've got to do this once, hopefully, unless I've got my car now. Another 36, I mean, it's 36 years old. So what I've done in order to rotate the drive shaft is I just jack the wheel up a tiny bit so that there's a space underneath it. And then if you take off the handbrake, you can rotate the drive shaft, which I've done. And I've rotated it round to expose, another of the bolts. So I'm going to carry on sort of undoing them, and they'll see if we can get the rest of them off. But I thought that was the easiest way to do it. So due to the joy of differentials, you need to sort of raise a wheel so you can rotate things, as is the nature of gearing. The third one, I was deceived by the first one. It was easy. But now I've worked out my technique. It's just that I'm weak on my left arm, so I can't do it from my left arm, so I have to sort of rotate around and get my right arm onto it. But it's one of those things. So I'm just going to pop the handbrake off again and rotate around, find the last one, and that's it. That's the last one. Just put the handbrake back on. Obviously, if you've got a helper, they can help you do this more quickly, but I'm on my own as normal, so just going to see if I can get this final one to give up, and then we can move on to do something a little bit more interesting. Last one. That one's not so bad either. So two were hard and two were a bit easier. So we've reached that stage. So what I could do is now just get the handbrake turned off for a bit, and then we could just have free range on this rotating. Last thing I'm going to do is take these off. It's a 13mm. I'm not going to film it because it's just 2 bolts. It's simple. And then we're going to look at removing this finally, and then we'll get the other prop shaft and just have a little bit of a comparison. There you go, so that one's out. Just gonna continue. It looks like up there as well. Interesting. There you go. That's supposed to come off like that. So it's kind of fallen apart. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, it's kind of fallen apart. I think that it's left the head. Oh, that's not good, is it, if it's falling apart? Okay, we'll have a little investigation on that. There's one of the ball bearings that popped out. I shouldn't get the bend it. But then I suppose if it's stuck in there and we've taken the bolts out, it's got nothing to keep it in there necessarily. We'll have to have a little think about that, but we'll come back to it. Of course it won't just pop off. Don't you love it? Don't you love it? Hallelujah. It came off. Right, that's that bit. So we ended up with some accidental, interesting, or possibly interesting things to look at. So that's the bit that I had to bash off with a hammer. And then this is the kind of universal joint bit in here. And I put in the missing ball bearing that flopped out. I'm just going to see if I can put it all back together and keep it together so that I don't get mess everywhere. So slightly amazed that that just came apart when I tapped it off. And the whole thing didn't just come out properly like it should have done. But anyway, my lesson learned, and hopefully we can get on now and do our inspection. Okay, from what I can see, this end does seem all right other than it's separated itself. Obviously, this is still loose, although I've got this kind of weird podge that I've done on it. This here, my foot on there, this is very notchy. So this middle joint, yeah, the one-handed filming trick again, isn't it? Right. So this bit is actually very notchy. So that's doesn't feel brilliant. It's just very notchy. And then push that back up there. And then this is very notchy as well. So it kind of clicky, 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 which is completely different to that. So that's smooth, notch. So I'm going to have a clean up of the face at the transfer box for this to make sure there's no sort of rust in there, and then I'm going to clean up as well to accept it at the other end on the diff at the rear. So I'll give those a clean, and I think we will start to make an attempt to get our new prop shaft fitted. So it's not really kind of difficult, it's just a bit slow just to keep maneuvering yourself around, but we're getting there. Now when you fit it, it says don't put a lot of pressure on these parts, so I think the danger with this is obviously just getting it sort of poorly fitted, and then it's going to fail pretty quickly if you do that. Okay, so here we are with this. We've got just kind of clean this up while I brushed it, made sure it's all pretty flat so that the other chappie can mount onto it. These are the points where I did mark it, so I'm just going to mark. I've marked the other one, the new one, to put back on in the same place. So it's going to be oriented in the same way that the other one was. So we shall see whether that makes a difference. I've just got to work out how to sort of start getting it manoeuvred into position without doing any damage to me or the drive shaft. So let's see whether I can work out how to get it initially started. I'm going to put some blue on the bolts, which is the blue lock thread lock. That will be on both ends, and then I will start them off and then I'll finish torquing them. So that's what I'm planning to do. It's an awkward way to do this. Okay. Right. I'm kind of holding this, slot it on there. I'm just going to put in a bolt to sort of keep it started just for a second before I start getting too excited, assuming that the bolt's actually going to go in. This is the fun bit, isn't it? It may not be really well aligned. Okay, that's better. So I've not put any blue on that, I know, yes. I'm just trying to get this kind of into a good sort of position so that we're mounting properly. I put the center bearing on, and also going to put one bolt in at the other end on the other end of the prop shaft, just to stop it putting pressure on any of the joints, as it kind of said in the documentation. Whew, so that was pretty hard. It's all right if you're probably strong, which I always tell everyone I'm not, because I don't feel very strong at the moment. But so this one, I've got some blue on it, so I can actually start thinking properly then about threading that on. Assuming that I've got it in the correct orientation. I fooled myself. Come on. You know you can, you know you want to. Because it's a bit harder at the back. It's a bit tighter. Doing the same, you know, the usual thing, they're trying to get your fingers finger tight rather than being mad, because we just want to do it gently so that it's on. There you go. Right, I've got a couple on there. Let's switch to the other end. I will rotate this one, I'll take the handbrake off, but I'm going to we'll just generally get everything going. Okay. See what we can get going here. I've got one on there, although the bracket's around the wrong way, so let's see if we can get this out a bit better. See if we can get one going here. That's better. Right, that's good. And then we'll get another bit of blue on another one. That one goes in at the top. That's better. Okay, so that means we've got those ones in. I can then take this one back out and then sort that out, because that's not aligned correctly. I'm just doing them up in an alternating pattern, so I know. So I've done that one up. I'm moving around to that one, and then I'm going to move around to this one. So we've all kind of got a distance from each other. So I'm just making sure. So I've just got these nipped up, and then we're going to move on towards talking. But we're going to get everything nipped up. So these fellas have got to be done at 150 Newton meters, which I think is 111 pound-feet. I will double check and put them in the picture just to say. See if I can get these done. There's not much room under here to talk anything. But these chappies are, what was it? It was, I think, 73 Newton meters and 54 pound-feet. But again, if I've got it wrong, I'll double check that in the titles. Bloody hell. Very difficult with a lot of torque wrench on. I'm going to distill them until I think they're nice and tight. Sort of opposite ends until I'm happy that they're generally done tightly. I'm just going to finish these all off. I've put the centre bearing back on, and then I'll rotate the prop and finish off the rear ones, but I think going to stop filming now. This is kind of as much as I can get to. It's not the best job in the world to film, but I'll give up there. I will go for a drive in a bit and then might just do some feedback at that point. Okay, good stuff. I've been for a drive in my car after changing the prop shaft, and a number of things are better. There's no creaking, which I was hearing from the rear of the vehicle, especially at low speeds when I was turning. The vehicle seems not to be quite as abrupt to slow down. Before, when I was taking my foot off the accelerator, the car was slowing down, sort of feel abruptly as if there was resistance. The other thing that is much better, there's no nasty knocking when I change gear. I've got a manual car, so when I put my foot on the clutch and change gear, there's no sort of like clunking that there was before. So I'll keep an eye on it, and if there's anything that does happen, I will report it back. But for the time being, I'm really happy. So excellent job done.